Hello everyone, hello! Y'all hearing? Y'all hearing? Are you all believing? Yes you can? Brad, we need to hear you. Can hear, can't believe.
I'm here.
Yes!
Here.
Here, everybody, here. Alright. I'm on YouTube, I am also on the Discord, we're all starting soon. Just chilling, like maybe a minute or so before we start the show. Hopefully y'all can hear. Sound test. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear Brad?
Yeah, I'm here. I hope so. Everyone can hear me. I mean, I'm just saying that. I don't have the chat open. I should probably open the chat so that everyone can hear me. But it seems like nobody's saying they can't hear me. Although I guess if I was talking and you couldn't hear me, you would just think I wasn't talking. So
Yes. Are there going to be visuals on the live stream? Yes, but they're not like, like they're just cool images that I've put. They're not like PowerPoints. No, they're not like PowerPoints. It's just like, the starting soon and then the live now and then the stream ended, like I'm not streaming my voice or like my camera or anything. But I think we should be starting now. Hello everybody and welcome to Level Up Live, your source for everything Level 99 games, or otherwise. It's me, your host, Marco DeSantos, also known as the Mechanic Critic, and with me is the ever amazing, ever wonderful, ever bright, and ever president of Level 99 games himself.
President for life of Level 99 games. Is that what does that mean?
Yes, you are the president for life. It'll never change. Actually, you are cursed, okay? This is the burden you bear.
I'd like to believe that someday, this may survive me. That it might be bigger than just me.
It might be bigger than just you. I mean, honestly, yeah. Brad, like, once you have a kid and they grow up, they'll inherit your Level 99 Games Zaibatsu-esque Nintendo company. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, sure. I have to teach. I teach Catherine the Ojo laugh now.
Honestly, that's the only requirement to be a CEO, right? That's why your Ojo laugh is so powerful, right? See, it's okay. truly a sight to behold, a sight to see and a sound to hear. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Level Up Live. We're so excited to be here on another month, bringing you all the wonderful news from Level 99 games. But before we get into that, Brad, chat, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's good to be back. Nice to see you again. It feels like it hardly feels like a month has passed. Everything's moving so fast over here that the time is getting away from me.
Oh no,
but it's a lot of cool stuff, right? A lot of things are happening. Things are happening every day. It's busy.
Yeah.
Thank you for all for joining us. And cool, unboxing Heart and Star as you listen. Oh, very cool.
Wow. Tell me which of the characters is going to be your favorite and why it's Nawa, right? Extreme bias.
Yeah.
Extreme bias.
I see.
I'm already
extreme bias.
Yeah, I'm already shilling the Filipino characters. I mean, Ice Pop's already shilling the Filipino characters. Let's go. Youngja's fine too. Youngja's like my main, so that's fair. Youngja's a cool character.
All the characters are cool characters. That's why we put them in.
Yeah, of course. Obviously.
The characters that didn't make it in, not cool.
Yeah, truly. You know what we always say? The best character is the one I play. And that's what everybody says.
Yeah. The best character for you anyway. I think this is the real one of the real fun things of games that have characters is that you get to kind of pick your identity.
Yeah, that's true.
At the start of the game, you get to pick a character that you that you want to represent you or to at least guide your strategy. A character who will stand alongside you during the game.
Yeah, that's true. Not all games are capable of doing this, but level 99 games are, and honestly, that's what I really love about them. And I could gush about level 99 games to all of you, but this is not the place, okay? This isn't for gushing about level 99 games. This is about Reese's peanut butter pieces.
This is a serious project update chat where we talk serious game business.
And only that, nothing else. Actually,
Yeah.
if you, Brad, start trying to have any fun, you will be deducted 5 victory points at the end of the game, as you will receive the penalty card. Like
You haven't defined what the points are. Maybe it's golf scoring.
oh.
Maybe the more fun I have, the more points I lose, the better my score.
See, this is what being a game designer is like. If you start losing, just change the rules, right? I remember when we used to playtest stuff with each other. Midway through the game, you'd be like, "I'm the designer of this game. I changed the rules."
I would never.
You said it in jest, okay? You didn't actually change the rules.
Then you gotta represent it in jest.
Yes, of course, it is represented in jest. Come on.
All right.
I would never. But Brad,
Yeah.
how are you as a person? Like, how are you? What's up? What's up with Brad?
Doing well. Keeping busy. Lots going on. I'm getting ready to go to Essen in October. So in about 1 week from Wednesday. So yeah, just about 9 days now. I'll be flying out to Essen. It takes me more than a day to get there. Like, you get there the next day. And just going for personal meetings and stuff. So
right.
Be meeting with some distributors, some localizers, etc.
Wow.
Show off some of our games, including some of the games that we're game jamming this week.
So are you going to Essen to be a big Pog the business boy?
Well, when you put it like that, I suppose it's difficult to deny, but I don't like the way you say it. But yes, I'm going for business purposes.
Yes, being a business boy. Good to know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so glad that you're going. Are you gonna go sightseeing while you're there, or is this just all business, all boy?
It's all business.
Aw, dang.
My free time will be on the plane.
Well, I guess you could use it to read a book, write a novel.
Yeah, I'll chill out, do some game design.
Is that, Brad? That's already what you do for work.
No. What I do for work is I write copy and I answer emails and I make distribution deals and et cetera, et cetera. That's the job.
I mean,
the fun is when you get to actually make a game.
Yeah. Sometimes, what was that? Like, being a president gets in the way of making games.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
It's but I love leading the team too, and I love I love learning about the business and the industry, and I've been learning a lot recently about different facets of the industry. So I'm really hoping to learn a bunch of new things while I'm there in Essen as well.
Wow. You live, you laugh, and you learn, Brad. You live, you laugh, and you learn. Hi, Alex in the YouTube chat. Some questions. So, instead of asking me about my day, let's answer some questions before we move on to the main.
We can ask you about how you're doing, Marco.
No, I'm not being tsundere about it. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, you are. You actually are. Like, not passive aggressive about it, like some people I know.
Oh my god.
Not here on the minutes highlighting the and Marco and like putting it in bold and underlines. Okay, sure. Why don't you tell me how you're doing, Marco?
I mean, I'm okay. Your boy is up and ready. It's 6 a.m. I've fixed my bed. You know that thing that people say where you pick yourself up by your bootstraps, wake up at 5 a.m. and all of that stuff? They're lying. I don't feel great at all.
Oh no. Yeah, I got like this 3:30 a.m. call with like Asmodee tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna make that.
It's okay.
Maybe I'll just rely on Crystal to make it.
You believe in the heart of the cards. You wake up, you drink your water, and you pog out of your gourd. That's what happens. But yeah, like, you know, I'm pretty chill. Chat, you have to understand, okay? I'm really excited because we're gonna be talking about game jams later in the episode, and I have some news. And when I reveal that news, truly it will be so powerful that all of you will short circuit and have to give me a thumbs up. That's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be amazing. Before we move on to the next segment, Brad, let's just answer some good starter questions, and I think it's very, very interesting. Twilight's asking, is Marco the original Level 99 Games fanboy? I don't know if I am. Wouldn't that be Brad?
Yeah, probably.
Like, wouldn't you be the original fanboy? Like, you know.
I don't think it's too good. I don't think it's a good move to fanboy over your own work.
Okay. I guess
I can be the original Marco fanboy.
Wow. So now,
when you put out your first game.
Fanboy for fanboy. You know, we traded fanboyisms of each other.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. What do you call this? This is a really interesting question because I think this might lead us into the topic for the later half of the episode. But speaking of which, how do you make cool characters thematically and mechanically? I think it's a good starter question. Brad, give us some of that juice. How do you do it?
How do I do what?
How do you make cool characters thematically and mechanically? Like, what's your juice, Brad?
Oh, gosh. How do you make cool characters?
I just do. You know,
I mean, yeah, I think it's just a
watch a ton of anime.
Yeah, I mean, whatever medium you experience in, like, I think that's really what it comes down to. Like, if you're watching a bunch of anime or you're, you know, reading novels, you know, if you're reading novels, you imagine kind of like your character, you know, as the main character of a novel. If you're watching movies, you kind of imagine what this character will be doing, you know, in their own movie. You know, like, kind of synthesize the media in your head and create a character that is compelling in that media. I don't know. It's complex.
Really? I mean,
you know, there's a lot of theories about what creative process is. Maybe it's just a bunch of random things we've already seen getting remixed and put together in your head. I know, maybe there's some abstract world of ideas. You know, it's really it's somewhat mystical. I don't know
somewhat
what I exactly
mystical
think about it, but it.
What's this? The Dark Crystal? You know. Are you the Skeksis? Like, what are you talking about?
I don't know.
I mean, to me, it's a bit more concrete, right? Like, maybe I'm speaking from the fact that I'm a developer, not a designer by heart, but. You know, I think the point here is that to make a character that feels thematic mechanically, it's about understanding the concrete experience you're trying to make the player experience, right? Like, I think the trap a lot of people fall into is that they try to emulate the experience instead of provide it. Does that make sense? Right? Like,
yeah, kind of. I kind of understand what you mean.
Right, like when you create, like, you know, let's say you're making a character for BattleCon Exceed or whatever, and they're meant to be like, I don't know, like a grappler, right? And they're supposed to deal a ton of big boy damage. But if you make the steps to get the big damage involve like 15 different math equations, even if you deal 15 damage at the end of all of it, you don't feel much like a grappler, even if you dealt like half the opponent's life bar, because you had to like do 15 million different inputs when most grapplers just do a single 360 and then deal half somebody's health bar, you know?
Yeah, from a mechanical standpoint.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right?
Like,
that's
this is, Yeah, you really want to emulate the feel that, or create the feel, right?
Right.
That we're going for. But I don't know. Like when I'm thinking, how do you come up with a character? Like take a character like Malandrax from BattleCon. The character comes first, and then we're like, well, what kind of thing does he do? I guess he's going to use traps because that's cool. And so then you design the traps around around the character. I feel like the character's thematic identity comes first, at least for me.
Right, of course.
Sometimes I'll be like, oh, I need a character that fills this niche. Like, there's no like high tech character, or there's no magic character, or there's no sci-fi character. And then and I kind of work from that angle. But
how do you get there is the question, right?
Yeah, but it's still typically the character concept comes first, and like, what's this character? Why are they cool? Why am I interested in identifying with this character? And then from there, what mechanically, thematically, how do they mechanically, thematically do something interesting?
Yeah. Oh god, it's so nebulous. But before before we get into pontificating about art and music and the meaning of life, Brad, let's talk about serious business. All right, serious business only.
Sure.
If you have any fun, you will lose the victory points. All right.
If you have fun, then you just lost the game.
Yeah, exactly. The game. We've all lost it.
So the
Brad, let's talk about some project updates.
Our project updates.
Yes.
Okay. So Sakura Arms, Bullet, Star are pretty much, my understanding is that they're out everywhere in the world. That like the projects are basically closed, and we're cleaning up a few more support tickets, but generally it's done.
Okay, so
if everywhere that has these, that's supposed to have these, has them already.
So quick question, right? If you're saying this and I still don't have my product, does that mean it's on the way to me? Or does that mean something wrong has happened and I need to contact support now?
I'm gonna double check this. I'm gonna contact support right now on your behalf. And I will ask here just to be 100% sure.
Yeah, no
worries.
worries.
This right on the stream in front of millions of live viewers.
See, this is the great thing about doing a live show is that you, the audience, get some live confirmation.
Here on set.
Yes. Phone a friend.
Arms and Bullet are fully fulfilled everywhere, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're fully fulfilled everywhere in the world. Okay. Well, there, you've heard it here first, folks. Sakura Arms and Bullet fully fulfilled. We're getting through last couple tickets, I guess, if there are any. And if you haven't received your game yet, or you haven't gotten shipping notice yet, reach out to us. We'll be here to help you. Kier will be here to help you. Thank you, Kier. Let's round of applause, Kier.
Round of applause for Kier, everybody.
All right.
I love Quixotic's image here because they got the reference immediately. I was referencing ProZD's video on Ameritrash versus Euro games. What a good video.
He's got so many great videos.
What if I have other products like Imperial in the order with Bullet? Well, we'll be getting to Imperial right now, Brad.
Yeah. Yes. So let's talk about Imperial. Imperial Spells and Steam is last week was on was at port in the USA. So it's a riot. So first of all, Europe, Australia, and UK and should have shipped already. Like are out and about. Actually, I have another message from Kier where he summarized all this for me, so I'm gonna read right here. Imperial, Asia partially fulfilled. EU, UK, Australia fulfillment complete. Posters are still arriving separately. And then North America, we're waiting on the boat to unload, basically. So we're probably about a month out in North America, Canada.
Got it.
Yeah. So that's where we are with Imperial right now. If your Bullet order included Imperial, then you are going to have to wait for Imperial. We ship it all at one time. But our stock system should automatically hold your copy of Bullet so that it's there when the time comes. So yeah.
Amazing, amazing. I'm so... Oh, Brad, you cannot imagine. I'm receiving this information into my brain space, and it's filling it up and making me feel serotonin. Give me more project updates, Brad. Quick. I need my fix.
Yikes. Okay. Yikes. Sorry, I preferred it when this was boring. So the next project that's coming up is Exceed Season 6 Under Night. Under Night in Birth. That is EU and UK have already received their stock, and fulfillment should start very soon. Asia is picking up from our factory, so you'll hear news from them in October. And then Australia, North America, no confirmation of a pickup yet. So Australia should be getting it very soon, but our Australian carrier or fulfillment center has had some like kind of a management shift. So they're transferring that business to a different location, and we're working with the new location. There's a little bit of friction as we get set up with the new setup. But that's moving along. North America, again, we're going to ship it because that's where the bulk of orders are going. We'll be coming in through the West Coast, probably Seattle, and going over to Asmodee, where it's going to be split to our copies and Asmodee North America's copies.
Okay,
so
great.
We're probably like 2 months out on Under Night in North America. That's a rough ballpark. Don't quote that.
Don't quote that, but you literally said it on stream, Brad. Now people are gonna quote it.
But I immediately said, "Don't quote that" afterwards.
You think that stops people? I've watched VTubers go like, "Don't clip that," and people clip it because they say, "Don't clip that." Like,
sigh
indeed, sigh. And Brad, I've killed you.
Yeah.
Stab.
Stab. Oh no, I'm dead.
By daylight.
Daylight. That's a good segue to our next segment, which is Dead by Daylight. So Dead by Daylight, we're still doing production. We're still waiting on.
Sorry, chat just said cringe, and don't.
Yeah.
The cringe is the crave. Every time you are on a show with me and Brad, you have to understand the cringe is the crave. Okay, that's. We need to make a shirt of that, Brad. Like, even just for the two of us.
We said that like 3 years ago.
But we need just for us personally. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it myself.
Sure, it'd be like the Nike shirt that says "Just Do It," but
yeah,
it's the cringe
is the crave.
And big slab letters.
And instead of the Nike swish, it's like, imagine the Nike swish is like a mouth, and then you put eyes on top that make a cringe, like a face that's cringing, right? Oh, branding,
sure.
Branding. Sorry, Brad. Go back to your Dead by Daylight update.
Okay. Well, in Dead by Daylight, there's not too much new news. We are still working on the what do I say? The production for the collector's edition. It's just taking a while to do the mold tooling. And that's where we were. It's kind of the same thing as last month. It takes 60 days to get that step done.
Wow.
So they're still in progress with it. Yeah. Other than that, there's really not much to say until then. We're working on doing some more, like recording some more not tutorials, but like live play videos. So we're scheduling live play videos. We're doing other like plans for the release.
Oh.
So that's really what we're doing in our side of the office, is planning for the release of the game next year.
Right.
And yeah.
You're making sure that when it comes out, it explodes, blows up, is exciting as all heck, right?
Yeah. And we're looking at getting some painting tutorials done by the original sculptors. So
that's cool.
So we're talking with them about that. But yeah, hopefully we'll have some more materials in the next few weeks for Dead by Daylight. So
awesome.
Looking forward to that.
All right. Okay, Brad, I'm so happy that you got me all of those project updates. They've been downloaded into my brain and have filled my stomach up with joy. So let's take a little break.
Great. I said great. That's good. That's good. I think that's good.
You think that's good?
I
mean, look, the real project updates was the food we ate along the way. But
Yeah. Yeah, I'm more concerned about how things go into from your brain to your stomach.
it's
that's
called nutrition, Brad. See, you wouldn't know any of this because you're not a
nutrition is where things
biologist.
from your stomach go to your brain.
No. You see, if it goes one, it's called the transitive property of math. Okay, like this is why you're a computer science major and not the biology major. Okay,
I see.
which says the computer science major.
Yeah.
Okay, so we still have a few minutes before we have to move to the next segment. So some people are asking, any AAA news, which is Adventures at Argent News, Brad? Do you have any Adventures at Argent News for us?
So not really. So what we did is in the past few months we did a big analysis of role-playing games and narrative games in the market. And what we had concluded on all that was that when we do our first narrative game, we want to really be able to go all out on it. We want to come at it with a certain level of experience and understanding.
Right.
That I think it's still a bit early for us. Mainly, what did I say? At the end of all of it, I talked about I wrote down my conclusions about what it would take to have a narrative games team that would be able to do narrative games on a regular basis for us. And I think it's a good plan, but it requires a bit more money than we have right now. So we're going to build up to it over the next few months and then hopefully launch it shortly after.
Ooh.
So I'm hoping that, that we'll be moving into narrative games as a kind of staple of the business. That's what I said. I don't want to just release a role-playing game. I would like to make narrative games part of the line. And to do that, we have to not just release Adventures at Argent, we have to have a team that can release Adventures at Argent and games like that every 3 to 6 months.
Or expansions to it even, right?
Yeah. But that's the idea. Like that we want to be able to do it consistently and not just kind of like a one-off. I say So anyway, so we're we're saving up to kind of be able to launch that division and give it a 2-year runway to become profitable. That's where we're at. I said narrative game over roleplay game. Not like a lot of games that require narrative are not necessarily role-playing games. I think the kind of games we want to make really ride that line. Like Power Play was a narrative game, but it wasn't really a role-playing game. Like the whole game was about meta, right? Like metaing the game. It wasn't about trying to be your character.
Right.
Other games that are like, we have some kind of like adventure book games that we've talked about.
Right.
Other games that are story-driven games, or that are narrative games, or that use narrative actions, but are not necessarily role-playing games.
Right.
And so I think it's a distinction. I don't really want to do role-playing games. I don't want to make big books that, big 200-page books that, that you're used for a storytelling game. I think that we're really looking at a model that is more like what, I guess, kind of like Free League is probably the closest example in the market right now. Games that kind of come in a box with, like, boards, components, some nice, 30-page rules and starter guides.
Right.
It's a game that is the box game experience with a narrative game inside that box.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's what I really think we're going for, and I think it's what we have the talents to produce.
All right.
So,
I mean, that's a really good answer to that question.
So, yeah, that was super detailed.
But it's okay. It's okay. We should take a break. And everybody, we're gonna move on to the mid-roll break. And for this mid-roll break, are you all ready for my segment, which I like to call Raving Reviews. The game show where I take a review off of BGG and Brad and the chat have to guess what game the reviewer is talking about. So I've gone on to BGG, I've gotten some interesting sounding reviews, and you have to guess what game it is. I've made it fair, okay? I've chosen decently popular games. I'm not gonna make you guess some obscure game that was made in 1982 by some person in, you know, Europe or whatever, and it only sold 15 copies. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going there, right? So these games are at least in the top 100, or like, you know, you see on market shelves in like Walmart.
They're like in print common games. These are the monopolies and the and the exploding kittens type category.
Right. So we'll be getting into it. Can it be a level 99 game? It could be, but I'm not gonna give away and say that it can't be. Ooh. All right. Here's your first one, everyone. Here's your first one. If you want to roll dice and gain property, don't play Monopoly, play this game.
I know a couple games that could be for, but the first one that comes to mind is Lords of Vegas.
Lords of Vegas is a pretty good guess. Chat, do you all wanna?
Machi Koro is also.
Good. You know? All right. Okay. Well,
is it Machi Koro?
It's Machi Koro, everybody. Good job, Panda.
Congratulations, Panda.
What a first answer.
Yes.
Really good. Machi Koro. Hey, somebody on YouTube also got it. Steven. Nice. Okay. Question 2. The idea is so much cooler than the execution. How the heck are you supposed to keep track of your hints while staring at nothing but the boring backs of cards and alternating those every other turn?
Hints. Backs
Exceed.
Of cards.
Wow, exceed.
I don't think it's Hanabi because they don't give you hints, and also the cards don't change in Hanabi.
But Brad, the answer is Hanabi.
Well, darn it! Darn it!
I love how Brad's like, it can't be Hanabi. It possibly can.
It's spoiled myself.
Foiled yourself, dude. Oh my gosh. The real answer was Exceed. Stop it. The Night Gauge Arkham code names. Hanabi. Who got Hanabi? Panda. You are on a roll. You are good at this game. Panda's the master of this game.
Collusion. I'm calling collusion.
Collusion.
All right.
Panda's actually me. I'm on an alt account. Okay.
Yep. Panda's a sock puppet. Confirmed sock puppet.
Next up. Meaty rollin' right. Yeah, it's hard, but it's worth the effort.
Meaty rollin' right. That sounds like cartographers to me.
Oh, Brad, you're wrong because it is Twilight Inscription. You got it, Quixotic. Nice. Wow, you guys
I've never heard of that. I haven't seen that. Is that new?
It's
Twilight Inscription?
Yeah, it's pretty new. It's been making waves on BGG. I assume it's Twilight Imperium.
Twilight Imperium?
Yeah, Twilight Imperium, the rolling right is basically what it is.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Oh man, I learned about a new game today.
All right.
I want to see this.
Okay, we only have 3 more games left, everybody. Currently, Panda has 2 points.
Josh is gonna flip when he sees this.
Currently, Panda has 2 points. Quixotic has 1 point. Let's move on. Still a fantastic game, but I've lowered my rating from a 9 to a 7. The actual dungeon crawling is almost an afterthought to the puzzly card play, which is disappointing. Not quite the dungeon delving adventure I was looking for, but it's still very good at what it does.
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to talk about dungeon crawling, Gloomhaven. It's Gloomhaven or Descent. I don't think Dungeon Run is relevant enough that you would actually pick it.
Oh my gosh. Brad, you are correct. It is indeed Gloomhaven, but the first person to answer.
I had a lot of help.
Thanks, chat. Thanks. Exotic, you got it as well. 2 points for you. All right. Next game. It's not as bad as so many game players claim, but I expect it's turned off millions of young people over the decades of ever wanting to play board games again. It made me want to play better board games, so there's that.
I mean, I feel like this is clearly the the Monopoly bait here, but I know you wouldn't pick the obvious game, so I'm gonna go with Battleship.
Wow, Brad, you should have just went with the obvious game. It's Monopoly. I'm in your brain right now, man. You're playing yourself, Mr. Karato. You've gotten the point. Okay, everybody, last game. Pranked.
All right.
You got pranked, Brad. Get absolutely hard red. Okay, here's the last one. One of the most excessive, over-the-top, complicated games on the market, yet also one of the best. I would only recommend this to like 5% of gamers, yet those gamers would really enjoy this game.
This sounds like Millennium Blades.
Oh my gosh. Well, Brad, you know, I duped you because none of them were level 99 games. Twilight.
Oh, no!
Twilight, you got it.
Twilight
It is
Imperium?
Twilight Imperium, yep.
Oh,
Brad.
goodness. Okay.
At least you got Gloomhaven right,
You picked
Brad.
Twilight Imperium twice, Marco. I don't...
No. See, the other one is called Twilight Inscription. See, that was, you know...
but it's not even an Inscription licensed product. This is... no.
No? How dare you? Totally different. They're entirely different games. Absolutely true.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You know, chat on YouTube said I foiled myself like Brad did on Hanabi. Oh, sometimes your own greatest enemy is yourself. And that has been Raving Reviews. We'll be back again next month with a different mid-game segment. Hopefully y'all enjoyed, and hopefully y'all have fun. You have won a wonderful prize, and that is a thumbs up from me, Marco DeSantos himself. Thumbs up.
Not friendship.
Well, Brad, you didn't win. You already have my friendship, so like I couldn't give you that, right?
Maybe I was a winner. I was a winner from the start then.
You were a winner from the start. Oh, truly. What is the real? What's the
What if the real friendship was the winnings we got along the way?
I want there to be like an Aesop like that, where it tries to make a lesson about friendship, and at the end they're like, no, it's about the money and the victory points all along. Can a prize be a public statement that the Jenna is low tier? Only if you admit that Maggie's worse than her. All right. Okay.
Maggie used to be like top high level. What happened?
No, Maggie was never high level, Brad. What are you talking about?
What? Even in like original war?
OG war? Yeah, dude. Luke would destroy her.
Well, Luke destroyed everybody. That's hardly anything.
Yeah, but that doesn't. Yeah, if you can't compete with Luke, Hepzibah could compete with Luke. Anyway, you know, let's set this aside, everybody. We are now heading into the second half of this episode. We will be talking about game jams, Brad. You talked a little bit about game jams earlier. Do you use them to make a peanut butter sandwich?
No, you don't. You make a game sandwich.
A game sandwich?
I don't know.
What is the meat of this game sandwich, Brad? Is it mechanics? Is it art? Is it a thirst for adventure?
So this week we are having an in-office game jam. This is where we're actually we've kind of designed all the games already. So it's not that kind of thing. But everybody is working on creating project pitches, kind of in the form of sell sheets that we're going to present to Asmodee and to our international licensors and localization partners, so that to see if they want to produce them. So we last year we formed our partnership with Asmodee to do distribution in North America. Now we've reprinted all the great games of Christmas past, BattleCon, Millennium Blades, and Argent. So the what do I say? So the next thing that we're thinking about as part of our working together is what kind of games can we make specifically for Asmodee's trade and mass market clients. What kind of games can we make that are they're still level 99 games, but that could reach like a large audience.
So that we can put it in Walmart.
Yeah. So there's actually kind of two tiers. There's really four tiers in total. There's direct, which is kind of where we are now, right? Where we just sell games directly on Kickstarter and in our online store. There's hobby, which is like
Barnes and Noble.
No, hobby is like actual board game stores, and so stores that specifically sell board games are the hobby market, and also places online like Miniature Market and stuff like that.
So your LGS,
local game stores, that's the hobby channel. Then there's trade, and so trade is things that are like tangentially board game. So, for example, like this is your Barnes and Nobles, your gift stores, toy stores, places like that, right? Places that are selling a specific category of goods, which is like usually some sort of variation of goods and gifts,
right?
Toys and gifts.
And I assume the last one is mass, right?
Yeah, and then mass is the Targets and the Walmarts and the Walgreens, the stores that are basically convenience stores, the everything stores, or the stores that that are not specific, that are more, I guess, not specifically anything.
General. Right? They're general.
Yeah, they're general stores.
Right. So we're in this jam. We're trying to propose games that are for trade and mass. Is that it?
Really, we're trying to propose games that are for trade.
Okay.
And what happens is that the games that really perform well in trade, and have the right price point and form factor, make it to mass. They kind of graduate out. So really what performs in mass is a subset of what works in trade.
That makes sense.
It's kind of this like double funnel, because at the top end, like direct, are the most games. You can sell anything you want on Kickstarter, and there's a smaller set of that will sell in hobby, and there's a smaller set that'll sell in trade. There's a smaller set of that'll sell in mass, right? But you can see that like even games like Exploding Kittens and Cards Against Humanity, they can work both at Kickstarter and in mass. But the games that make it to mass from direct are actually very small subset.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes
so
sense.
Then the other side of the funnel, like the number of games you sell in mass grows.
Yeah.
Oh.
You got cut off, man. You have to say that again.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd say that the volume of games that you sell in this funnel gets bigger as you get towards the bottom in mass.
Yeah, that's why it's a funnel, right?
It's like a double funnel. So the kind of games that work is bigger in the direct side, and the volume of games that you actually sell is bigger in the mass side, obviously.
I mean, yeah, makes sense.
So anyway, but we're trying to kind of thread the middle of that funnel and find a game that works, all the way down the line. But mostly we're thinking of, what's going to work at trade so that we can graduate into mass. Anyway, that's the business side. Sorry, that's the boring stuff.
No, it's exciting. Brad, you have to understand. Like, stop it, right? Like, people are interested in that stuff. I'm interested in that stuff. Don't put it down, okay? It's exciting stuff. Gosh.
Yeah.
Insight like this is not easily accessible. You know that, right? Like, to you, it's like every day. But to some people, like, they never hear about this kind of stuff until you or I talk about it,
I see.
See, chat saying, nah, this is fun to know and learn about. This is the exciting part, to be honest, right? Some people want that insight.
Well, yeah. Well, so it's like success in mass is so mass is like super price sensitive. You have to be really careful about like what you put in the box, and how big it is and what the value proposition is. Like if you go to from like basically like beyond $30, you're probably not going to do very well. There's a couple games that you see at like Target, because Target's got a really robust game section, and you'll see some hobby games that are in the $40 and $50 range, but
rare.
Typically, yeah, they're quite rare, and they tend to not do well. They tend to cycle out in a season or two. It's the small games that really perform there. This is especially true when you get into like Walmart and Walgreens, you know, the real kind of general stores.
I mean, I guess at the end of the day, right? Like you're kind of wanting to tap into that impulse buy market too, right? Like when they see a board game, they want the initial investment has to be low enough that it's basically akin to like, you know, seeing the candy bar at the register and then wanting to get it, right? Like
I think there's a couple different kinds of mass customers, right?
Right.
The one is the people who are buying a game, you know, to play with their game group. So you're like your adults, friend groups, and for that kind of group, it's really about kind of like loss aversion. Like a game the game needs to impress their friends, right?
Right.
So it's got to be a game that's very accessible to its target audience. It's got to clearly communicate exactly what it is. It needs to not be doing a lot of things, and it needs to be over in the space of about 45 minutes. And it needs to play a large, flexible group size. So those are the kind of like attributes that we're looking for in this game that we're making, right? In the games that we're targeting. Second kind of...
Before you move on, I think that's very important to note, right? Like, the things that we've just described don't really apply to a lot of the games that we've made in the past, right? And
because we make games for the direct and hobby markets.
Right, exactly.
A game like BattleCon, you know, like so hobby market, you're typically looking at like your, you know, 30 to 60 range, right? $30-$60 range for hobby. So like Bullet would be a great mass market game, except that it is $20 too expensive.
And also only until 4 players.
And it has the anime theme, which is the liability for mass.
Right.
Unless you have an actual major anime license.
Like Naruto or Pokemon.
Like if you're not in the top 3, get out. It's got to be one of the top 3 animes in the world, or don't bother.
Right.
So, yeah. Like actually, I think the only anime game at Target right now is My Hero. Like it's My Hero Ultra or something.
Right.
Anyway, but so this is actually one of the games that's in our gym is a Bullet light.
Right.
It's called Star Chart. Is the name we settled on, Star Chart, and it is a slimmed down Bullet that is
like more generally themed, right? Like instead of like bullets and like shoot 'em ups or whatever, it's about like constellations and stars falling.
It's about finding constellations.
Right.
Yeah, you find constellations and you play it for points rather than for elimination. And it plays, you know, but otherwise, and everybody plays out of the same deck of constellations in the center.
Right. So everybody has the same power. Everybody has the same actions. Like it's. I think we called it like, you know, we azuled the bullet, right? Like it's kind of like what we did.
Azuled bullet.
Yeah, we azuled bullet.
That's the idea. So that's one of the games that we're talking about. You know,
right.
That kind of thing. What other kind of attributes for these?
I mean, I think it's very interesting, right? Because a lot of the, like, you know, from speaking from a fanboy perspective, a lot of the traits that you've just described for mass and trade are traits that I don't usually associate with level 99 games, right? So it's very interesting to see what kind of games we'll end up making with those traits, right? Because a lot of people might be already thinking like, you know, oh, variable player powers, oh, like multiple setups, oh, like card game with like characters and whatever, but like those things won't fly in the kind of markets that we're trying to tap into with this game jam, right? So it'll be very interesting to see what the level 99 games game looks like when it's not like a dueling variable player powers Euro big game. You know what I mean? Like, it's very interesting to see.
Yeah, it's you know, it's a difficult thing because kind of what we do is a bit counter to, you know, to what this is, right?
Right.
So
it's very interesting because I think even with these traits, you'll be able to tell it's a level 99 games game, I think, right? Because even when I look at our pitches, I just go like, this is a game that level 99 games made for sure. You know?
Yeah, I think we want to, you know, we want to be there, but also, I mean, we're certainly not gonna go all that way and stop doing the direct and the hobby games.
I mean, yeah.
But I think we want to try and approach, you know, these smaller games with, you know, with the correct, you know, with our own flair.
Yeah,
right?
Of course. Like, if anything, it'll just make us more powerful. You know what I mean?
Yeah. yeah.
Right. Okay, Brad, you want to go over some of the games that we're jamming, or is that?
Sure. Yeah, I can tell you about a few of the games that we're talking about over here.
All right.
So we have a game called Card Picture of a different kind of plush toy with some tickets at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And those are your VPs, or the tickets you can collect. And you have to hold the coin up in the air and make this kind of crane with your hands.
Right. Like you put one hand on the table with your elbow on it, and then you put your other hand's elbow in the palm of the first hand. Then you dangle it over the cards, right? So like your hand literally is the crane, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so you make that crane and you drop the coin, and whatever the coin lands on, that's the card that you get to add to your collection. And then it scores like Sushi Go. You're set collecting, or you're trying to build a tableau for points.
Right.
And that's the game. So it's really straightforward, really easy. It's super cute.
It has that cool stuffed toy, like wholesome stuffed toy cartoon aesthetic. I like it.
Yeah, it's very wholesome. And it comes in a clear box that's transparent.
Looks like a
crane machine. Yeah, it looks like a crane machine. So it's super fun. So I'm really excited about that one.
Right. See, and actually, it's funny because Twilight was just saying, you guys should look into making a dexterity card game. And you literally just went, yeah, we have one.
Yeah.
See, I told you.
In progress. So you have one of these, Marco, that's on the list. Why don't you tell us about Anito?
All right. So Anito Wish Granters is a social judging party game, which for all intents and purposes is basically take Gartic Phone, take Cards Against Humanity, mash them up, and then give it an Animal Crossing theme. So in this game, you are all citizens of this really cute Animal Crossing-esque village, and you all have these problems in your lives, you know, oh, my car broke down, oh, I lost my favorite necklace, etc., etc. You have to pray to the Anito gods and send that prayer to them. The problem is Anitos don't really understand spoken word, so you can only communicate with them via pictures and drawings. So every turn one player gets one of these problem cards, they have to draw it and show it to the rest of the players without telling them what that problem is verbally. Then all the other players have to draw a solution to that problem and present it to the first player, and the first player picks whichever solution works best, and you gain points off of that. So it's basically like, you know, Gartic Phone drawing Cards Against Humanity, which I think would be really fun.
Yeah, and it gets really weird because some of the problems are often pretty involved or specific.
Right.
And like, so the solution. So sometimes it's hard to figure out what the actual problem that you're supposed to solve is in the picture.
Right, because some of the pictures are like, my favorite stuffed teddy bear's arm got ripped off because it flooded my house, and you're like, what? Like, and you see somebody draw a flooded house. Like, what is this? Right? Like, how do you solve that? So it's a game of like extreme miscommunications, right? Because sometimes like I've had people, so like one of the things was like I broke my mom's favorite vase and now she's mad at me, and one of my friends drew an earthquake spitting out a bottle of Elmer's glue, and I'm like, how does that solves one problem, but it creates an entirely other one? Like, what's happening?
So crazy stuff. So that's quite fun. We've got a couple others that are in progress, but they kind of follow that tone. Like they're well understood genres that we're putting kind of a neat spin on. But we're kind of getting close to our time.
Yeah, we're getting close to our time. So we'll leave these last 5 minutes for some questions. So feel free to ask us some questions, and we'll try to answer them. And Exotic says, sounds closer to Dixit than Cards Against Humanity. I guess, like, the main mechanic is definitely Cards Against Humanity, but, like, Dixit also works, yeah. But I like it. Lives or dies by the aesthetic of the game, for sure. Yeah, it has that, like, wholesome anthropomorphic animal. Like, Root is a good example of what the aesthetic will be, but I think it'll be more, like, kawaii. Does that make sense? Like, more like vector art, Vector art, Animal Crossing, I have a mood board for this. I could just post it, but yeah, like that. Like Cult of the Lamb is a really good example. Yeah, Cult of the Lamb, but think less dark and red and more pastel and wholesome with like sunset colors, like yellows and light pinks and stuff like that. What's your guys' thoughts on doing giveaways or raffles? Can I answer this one, Brad?
Yeah, talk about it.
Right. So we used to do a lot of giveaways and raffles, and it was pretty fun when we were doing it. But at the end of the day, I think it creates. So there's two problems with it, right? Number one, it doesn't create as much traction as you would think based on the data that we've gathered when we did those before. And second, it creates this weird relationship with us and the community, because every time we do something or we ask somebody to do something, or like we announce a cool, interesting game, we don't want the first thought people have is, well, what do I get out of it, right? Like, what can I get for free by doing this thing, right? It kind of creates that weird relationship, and I think we didn't want that, right? Like, it's a mixture of those two factors. So, we used to do them. We don't really do them much anymore. We might still do them from time to time if it's a really cool initiative, but it's not something that we want to do like weekly or monthly or stuff like that.
Yeah. Also, I think like especially here, like everybody here owns
all the games.
Something, probably a lot of the things that we make. And one of the problems we've always hit with giveaways is that like we give something away and it's like, well, what about all the people in the community that already have it, that just want to participate?
Right.
Well, whoops. So, yeah. I think it's anyway. Like I said, I think these kind of things are best for for the community who doesn't know you, or the community that already knows us,
owns us.
Do other kinds that already knows us.
Yeah. No, yeah. The community that already knows us owns some or most of our games, right? Like,
yeah. We have talked about doing like more kind of future special promo type of things. I don't know when or if that's going to happen, but yeah, that's the that's the situation, right?
Is this the general shift away from your traditional niche? I don't know, right? Like, it's not like it's one thing to say like shift away, it's another thing to say spread your wings. You know what I mean?
I think it really depends on what you would call our traditional niche. My first published game was, well, it was BattleCon, but the first game I designed that got picked up by a publisher was Kill the Overlord. And then I made Noir and Grimoire Shuffle and, Infinity Dungeon, and Pixel Tactics and, Blades of Legend. But BattleCon got popular and Pixel Tactics got popular. That, and so we kind of got into the method of making those games for this particular audience. But in history, we kind of have always had games that were, for a more casual audience. Like half of our mini game library was very casual, and we tried to do it again with games like Sellswords and I Can't Even and Tomb Trader. They didn't really take off because you can't. It's that double funnel again. Right? When you in direct, you need to sell like a $60 to $100 product because you don't sell as many of them.
Right.
And so even if a game like, even if a game like Tomb Trader did fairly well, it doesn't matter because direct volumes are in the low thousands and the game is $20. So you're never going to make back what it costs to actually make that game. You have to expose that game to mass and to trade so that you can sell tens of thousands of copies.
Right.
So make it worthwhile.
I think
so. I guess what I mean to say to answer the question, sorry, is that it's not so much a shift away as it's more of a shift. It's more of an opportunity to do what we wanted to do but weren't able to do in the past.
Right. I was about to say, is it really a shift away if we've been making similar kinds of games before, but we were just not giving them, the stage for success? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? We did Anansi, we did, Noir and all of that stuff, right? And, these games, would have benefited from us, instead of trying to give it to direct, it would have benefited for us to put them in trade or something like that, right? So,
yeah,
yeah. I recall you saying previously a year ago that you were interested in lifestyle games. Is more my point. We still are, right? In a way.
Yeah, and with what's it word?
You okay, Brad?
The lifestyle games are still here. They're not going away. We have them, but a company can only support so many lifestyle games.
Right.
I don't think we don't need we've
Seven
got
of them.
BattleCon, we've got Exceed, we've got Sakura Arms.
Dead by Daylight's coming too, right? It's.
No, that's not really a lifestyle game. Right?
Dead by Daylight is a lifestyle to me.
It's definitely a lifestyle for the video game.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that there's, what do I say? I'm tripping over my own words here. Those games aren't going away, and we are planning more for the future. But I think that we've truly kind of realized what we can reach there at our current reach, and the only way to if we're going to expand this, our direct and our hobby lines, we really have to bring more people back from the mass and trade markets. We have to meet more people
so that we can funnel them into buying BattleCon and Exceed and all of our other lifestyle
our big
games.
hobby games. Yes,
big brain.
Master plan.
That's truly the man. Truly it is, right? That's kind of the thing. A lot of people have told us before, man, you guys are so good. Why have I only heard of you now? Right?
Yeah.
That's a real problem,
So I think that So I think that it's really about meeting more people.
Yeah. All right. Well,
so,
Brad, I've had such a great time with you on this wonderful, wonderful Monday morning your time, Tuesday morning my time, Monday afternoon, sorry, your time, and Tuesday morning my time. But Brad, alas, as much as it pains me so, as much as I would love to talk more about Anito. By the way, that was the cool thing that I wanted to say, is that one of my games is up in the running. Yeah, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but the mere so I told this to Brad before the show, but I don't expect it to win or get picked up, but the simple fact that Brad and Josh in the office thought that it was good enough to even be pitched warms my little heart, because
I think the important thing to say is that it's not there's no contest to win here. Like, all these games will be presented to to our distribution partners, and they may select any or all or none, but like there's no competition.
I'm not competing with the other games. I'm just it's competing with itself, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm not expecting it to get picked up, because just being in the running is already so amazing to me. Does that make sense? Right? Like,
yeah. But if I didn't expect it to get picked up, I wouldn't be taking the time to
Right. That makes sense. The fact that you
I do
see
think
the potential.
I think that it's a winner.
Oh, thanks, Brad. Thanks. See, this is what I mean.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brad. I mean, I've gone from fanboy to making my own fanboys.
Yes, the circle completes.
All right. Everybody, thank you all so much for coming to this episode of Level Up Live. I really appreciate all of you taking the time off of your wonderful days in order to meet with us and play with us and talk to us. As usual, it has been me, your host, Marco DeSantos, also known as the Mechanic Critic, and with me has been the ever amazing, ever wonderful, not just for trade, not just for market, but for every family home president of Level 99 Games himself.
Me, Brad Talton. Yeah. I don't even know what's happening anymore, Mark.
It's okay, Brad. Just go along with it. Thank you, everybody. And as usual, happy gaming.
Happy gaming, everyone.